Hi there, this is the Dark Queen. I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to my channel, Creepy Signal, bringing you all your nightmare material. Speaking of nightmares, I'm going to be reviewing a super underrated film, the 1977 The Sentinel. Yeah, nobody really makes a whole bunch of jazz about it when they really should. Guys, I'm telling you right now, our generation, it's hard. It's like finding a diamond in the rough, really, to find a good horror film nowadays. But sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, right? And you gotta start backtracking and really appreciating the originals, the greats. And I appreciate, thank you baby Jesus, for no one trying to reboot this film, because that would absolutely suck. It would be an abomination. We're talking horror movies, an abomination. The same, yeah, it would be terrible. So don't ever remake those films, okay? Save yourself money, unless you're trying to do a whole producer sort of ploy and plot of ripping off people, then you would reboot this movie. Yeah, thanks a lot, Anchor Bay, with Martyrs. We're never gonna forgive you now. You're gonna have to do a lot of redemption when it comes to that film. Can you undo greatness? Apparently they could, right? But let's focus on the positive, right? The positive. And that is the 1977 The Sentinel. That is right. And it's got stars you might have heard of, you know, like Burgess Meredith, Chris Sarandon, people that were up and coming at that time. You know, we're gonna drop some names like Christopher Walken, and let me see who else. Beverly D'Angelo, and you know, I mean, honest, and Jeff Goldblum, and you know, Christina Rains, Ava Gardner. I mean, it sounds like we're at an Oscar party, right? But we're not. We're just talking about the cast of the film. And honestly, how am I gonna run you through this awesomeness, right? Well, we've got a new sort of couple. They want to move in. She's not really ready. The character played by Christina Rains, and she's a fashion model. She gets a lot of commercial work. She's got a nice face, and she's seen very seriously on a serious note, Chris Sarandon, and he's a divorcee and a lawyer. But some strange is going on, right? He's under investigation. He's freaking out a little bit, and it's because his wife went missing, and they can't find the lady, right? So we've got Mr. Christopher Walken. He's trying to, you know, do a little bit of investigations on this guy, Chris Sarandon. You see him a little shady. He's got a little mustache going on. Oh yeah. And what can I say other than he wants to move in with her, and she's like, nah, I need my space, right? I need my space. So she's looking around. She's working with the real estate agent. She's like, hey, can you hook me up with a nice, you know, a nice flat? And you know, of course, her real estate agent, you know, is none other than Ava Gardner. And she's like, yeah, darling, I'll hook you up. And so she finds her this really nice place. It's a really nice, like, kind of townhouse that is comprised of different apartments, and they're really old and rustic, kind of like King William, you know. And I'm sorry if, you know, my viewers are not from San Antonio, but the King William district is very historical and things like that. And it's got really kind of that old-timey, nice colonial feel. And she moves in, and she starts noticing that her neighbors are a little bit weird. This is the 70s, so we have like Beverly D'Angelo like in a relationship with another woman, and she's a lot older, and she's kind of like, wow, you know, the age difference and things like that. So she's kind of picking up weird vibes, and she meets this really old, cute little man, you know, Burgess Meredith. And he's very friendly, very nice. He has a little cat, and the cat has like a birthday, and everybody goes to his party. All the other neighbors have like a little birthday party, and he's very charming. And what can I say, you know, other than she finds everybody peculiar and a little bit weird, but very harmless, right? And she starts talking to Chris Sarandon, you know, her boyfriend, you know, telling him, you know, it's weird. And all of a sudden, like, her health starts getting bad, and she starts having like attacks, you know, when she's at photo shoots. And you know, one of the photographers, you know, mentions to her that she looks like total crap, who's Jeff Goldblum. And she goes home and she starts doing a little digging, you know, where she's living and stuff like that. And you know, she also has a lot of self-conflict with her father. I guess he was like a deadbeat, sort of creepy kind of dad, you know, where he's like bringing women in and, you know, they're getting naked and stuff. She has a lot of bad flashbacks of her father. She has a really bad relationship with him, I guess. And you know, in the middle of the night she sees him, you know, his apparition, and he looks really tormented and like really, like, he looks like a monster. And it's one of those jump scares of the 70s. And you know, she starts telling Chris Sarandon, you know, I have this weird feeling and things like that. And you know, she starts doing more digging on the place where she's living, and she finds out that there's a priest like living on the top, like, level, and he's like ancient, he's like 100. And you know, Chris Sarandon starts doing digging of his own because he thinks it's a little weird too. And he's like, he's got a private investigator. The investigator's like, I found all this weird stuff you're telling, you know, there's this whole sort of like point of wow, you know, the awe sort of moment, if you will. And you know, Chris Sarandon, you know, discovers this secret, you know, if you will, and he's like, you know, get out of the building. And you know, and that's at the very moment when she's gonna go up and talk to the priest. And when she does, she finds out the priest is like blind, and he really doesn't move. He's like at this spot where he's just sat for like years and years. And she's going through his stuff, and she finds a book with her face in it, and it's like some sort of time traveler. I don't know, I really can't remember too well, but it really freaks her out. And it's herself, but she's a nun, and she doesn't really understand that. And then you know, she goes downstairs, and she's, you know, she's like, I better get the heck out of here. And that's when she's confronted by Burgess Meredith, and he's not alone. The place gets dark, like creepy dark, and behind him are these different sort of shadowy figures that are very pasty and very white. And honestly, if hell had a look, I mean, they got it spot on, because a lot of the faces are so contorted and so sorrowful. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. And spoiler alert. Alright guys, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know the ending to this film, you want to wait for the big surprise, we're talking Rosemary's Baby's level surprise, then just stop this video. Check out another video though. But anyways, I'm going to keep going. Burgess Meredith is there, right? With all these apparitions behind him, all these people, pasty white, buck naked, different shapes, different sizes, contorted faces, faces of doom, faces of torment, faces of agony, faces of like sorrow, faces of death, right? And he's still in his little cute little, you know, coat, smoker's coat, and he just stands in front of them and says, join us. You know who I am, you know who we are. And basically he is Satan. He's the representation of Satan, and she apparently is going to replace that priest that sits at the very top, because that whole flat is like the gate to hell, and she's supposed to protect and make sure that nothing gets out of hell and into the world. And Chris Sarandon figures all of this out, and he's with them because he had his wife murdered and he belongs in hell. And so he's even trying to convince her, an attorney, and you know, he's like, just join us, and you know, we're meant to be, and you know, he's pleading all this stuff, and you know, she's freaking out, right? And at the very end of the movie, you see her old and blind, and the city around her is like so developed and everything, and she's in the nun's outfit protecting the gate of hell. And that movie, please don't ever remake, because that would be just annoying. You know what, guys? Studios out there who own the rights to this DVD, get the uncut footage and make a special Blu-ray, and horror people like me will go out there and buy it. We will charge it, we will give you the cash for it, we don't care. But don't remake it, because that would be an abomination. But I mean, honestly, I thought that movie rocked. I mean, it, you know, it had slow pacing, yeah, but honestly, the payoff, the concept, the acting was really, really worth it. And I would say give it a shot. And you know, to me, I think it's definitely worth even buying if you can find it. It's super rare, super underrated. We should really, really kind of appreciate older horror films like this, especially not because of just the talent, but the concept, you know, being that sort of innovator and bringing that into a film. And I think even the talent probably signed on because it meant so much as far as a concept, a vision, a film. And you know, that's what I can say. Check it out, you know, and appreciate it, because you're not gonna you're not gonna find another horror film out there like it. But, you know, this is The Dark Queen giving you a horror movie review. And if you want to see more, or hey, I'm going to be accepting short horror films. If you want me to review them, I will totally do it. Put it in the comments below. And thank you so, so much for watching. And I'm going to bring you more. And I'm going to bring you more nightmare material. So, later, if I survive the night.